Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, I'm Sida, Indana, Iffa, Nahdika. I'm from English department. So in this opportunity, I would like to explain a little about translation and interpreting. Okay, for the first is chapter 1. In chapter 1, we will discuss about the meaning of translation and interpreting. Okay, for the first is translation. Translation is a text form that change one language to another language, and the translator have to know the culture and the language of source language to deliver a message and the aims to target language. And interpreting is the translation by orally and spontaneity. Interpreting also change one language to another language. The interpreter have to know the culture and the language of source language, but interpreter here also have to know the situation and intonation, because every intonation have a different meaning. So interpreter is used for face-to-face conversation. For the next is there is similarities between both. Okay. The similarities between translation and interpreting is change one language to another language and have to know the culture and the language of source language to deliver a message to target language. And the difference between both translation, we can use text form and need ability writing skill. But interpreting, we can use oral form and need to ability listening and speaking skill. So, what the important between both? The first one is because to access the internet and the computer, people need ability to translate. The second one is only 10% people in the world speak English. And the third and the last one is translation and interpreting we can use as a business. Okay, for the next is chapter 2. In the chapter 2, we will discuss about the translation expert. Okay, the first, according to Catford, the translation is focused on the grammatical from source language to target language, about the content and the time. The second is according to Newmark, that translation is focused on semantic and communicative to give the detailed information. And the third, according to Nida and Taber, the translation is rewriting a message contained the source text to target text to find the similarities. The fourth is according to Mildred L. Larson, the translation is basically change a form, spoken or written, and heard or print. Okay, and the fifth is Brishlin translation theory. Brishlin said that translation is strategy to remove an idea or thought from one language to another language, whether the form is orally or text, and whether the languages have orthographies or not. And the last is Will's translation theory. According to Will's, the translation is have three requires. The first is syntactic, the second one is semantic, and the last is pragmatic. Okay, for the last is chapter 3. In the chapter 3, we will discuss about the kind of translation. Okay, there is two experts here. The first is kind of translation according to Roman Jakobson, and the second is according to Savory. Okay, the first we will learn about the kind of translation according to Roman Jakobson. According to Roman Jakobson, there are three kinds of translation. The first is intralingual translation. Intralingual translation is the process of transforming a text to another text according to translator interpretation in the same language. The second one is interlingual translation. Interlingual translation is transforming from source text message to target language. The third one and the last is intersemiotic translation. Intersemiotic translation is a kind of translation that interprets a text into another sign or system. And according to Savory, there are 4 kinds of translation. The first one is perfect translation. The perfect translation is a translation that we can see in the public area. For example, no smoking and dilarang merokok. And the second one is adequate translation. Adequate translation is made for readers who aims that get the regular message for fun reading. Actually, the translator deleting the difficult word, and the translator feel free to paraphrase the sentence to readers get or catch the plot. The third is composite translation. Composite translation is serious translation of literature. And the fourth is research and technical translation. Research and technical translation is translation that related to studies or science or also techniques. Okay, for the last, I will give you a tips how to choose the good translator or the good interpreter. Okay, the first one is the good translator or the good interpreter have the certificate. And the second is professional. And the last one is review from the client. Actually, review from the client we can see in the website. Okay, maybe that is all I can share for you. And thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye!